Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Here we are again with another review on makeup. So today I thought we would do a review on the new launches from REFY Beauty. So it's a bronzer, blush and highlight all in cream form. And I obviously picked all three up because I am a big fan of Jess Hunt. I picked up the £45 combo deal, so you get to choose your bronzer shade, your blush shade and your highlight shade. I did not, however, pick up the brush because it was out of stock when I did pick up the items, but as you can see by the state that all of these items are in, I have given them all a try, and yeah. So I'm going to demo them for you today and we'll get into our thoughts and everything like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, continue watching. Right, so first, let me zoom you guys in. I feel like with my last video, like, I was watching it, oh, this is shaking a lot. With my last video, I was literally like so stressed looking at my skin because it was so red and I have no idea why. But yeah, so I've done my skincare prep like ages ago. It's currently 3:25 in the afternoon and I did wake up at around 9 and then I showered around 10, so yeah. So first we're gonna go in with my CRT London, I don't know, like I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm just going to do my insert shots that I did in my last video because I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, so just my little CRT London Watermelon Hydrating Primer. We're nearing the end life of this. I think after this, like, I'm losing my words here. The last hydrating primer I purchased was the Giorgio Armani one, and obviously it's like sitting in my collection now and I have to use it up at some point, but I'm basically done buying hydrating primers because it's just like overkill. Like if you're doing your skincare right, then you shouldn't be needing a hydrating primer. But yeah, so I'm gonna just put this, focus it mainly on like the outer part of my face because we're gonna put another primer in the center. I'm also taking my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I also noticed in my last video that I did this a lot and you guys couldn't see what I was actually doing. So I'm like super conscious of it. But I guess with each video, like you live and you learn and you're learning the new techniques of it all. So I've just really like spent time pressing that primer into like this area. Is where like my most porous areas are. Next in, I'm just gonna go in with my Glossier Skin Tint in the shade G11. I also did do a bit of a fake tan, as you can see on my hand. Oh my god, it's very obvious on camera. So this might look a bit light for me. So what I'm actually gonna do is take a bit of this highlighter and pop it into the skin tint because it is a bit darker. That was a lot more than I thought. And then I'm going to take this tiny little Real Techniques concealer brush and just mix it together on the back of my hand. And it will create like this kind of a shade and just dot that all over my face. And then I'm going to take my usual and just blend that out. I might need something a bit more coverage. That's obviously like one way you can, this is like a universal shade highlighter, so that's obviously like one way that you can use it. And then for just like a bit of coverage in the center of my face, I'm going to take my NYX Tinted Skin Veil in the shade Soft Beige. And I'm also going to just make sure that's extra coverage on my neck. My skin has seemed to calm down now that the weather is getting cooler, which is very, very nice. Because I was slightly concerned at the point. Has anyone else been having like the weirdest dreams? I don't know, at the moment I'm just having like the strongest dreams. Like I literally am like, I had a dream the other night that I was in a throuple. I was like, oh, okay, that's new for you, Angus. I never thought I'd be interested in that, but had a dream about it and I was like, okay girl. And then for concealer, I'm gonna take my Glossier Stretch Concealer with this brush again. Oh, look at me looking like a bright disco ball with the brightest under eyes you've ever seen. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna go back in with my brush and tap it in. So I have a question to ask the people that are watching this. If you like have ever moved to a different country, do you ever find that like your accent switches? Because obviously the longer I live here, the more like my accent changes, but like obviously I'm not noticing it. Sometimes, like, I know when I speak to, like, other South Africans, like, they think I'm American, and I'm like, no. Let's get into demoing the products that we all came here for, finally. So I've done my complexion. I haven't powdered or anything like that, although maybe I should. Let me just powder my under eyes quickly. Okay, so I've just set under my eyes just so I don't get any creasing underneath there. So let's get into demoing the thing. So this is the outside, and then it just has the shade on the back. So this is called, the cream, so it's the REFY cream bronzer in sand, and it's £18 retail. So this is the shade. It's quite warmer, so I'm very much like a cool tone person. I prefer like a sculpt over a bronze, just because I am so fair. But yeah, so this retails for £18, and you can get it on the REFY website. And I think the shipping was like $3.95. Okay, so I'm gonna take this Morphe M437 brush. I usually use this with my powder bronzers, but I'm just gonna go in. And then, so there's a lot of product on the brush like that. And let's go in. So you can see it's quite pigmented, so I'm gonna put some on this side as well. And oh, that was probably enough to like sculpt my whole face. So I'm just gonna go in. So upon like first application, it's quite emollient, and it's obviously, as you can guys see, it's very pigmented and it's very warm. Like this is like a proper bronzing shade. So I tend to bring my bronzers right up onto my cheeks because I like the all over bronze. And then I take it along my jawline as well. I'm going to dip in some more just to pick up a little bit more for the jaw. And I kind of like hug my jawbone because it doesn't exist. I need to fake it till I make it. And I just run it just under my neck. Like I don't like take it down here. Like I just put it underneath here. So like I'll look forward and then I just take your time blending it out. Like it obviously like it blends very well. You can see that it hasn't like set down, and then just go around my face. This neat. So like obviously I can see like this is blending really nicely. The more I move back, the more intense it gets because obviously the light is away from it. So if I go like up close, you can see that it's given me like the most subtle bronze in the world. Looking in the mirror, I look very bronzed. Like now it's like blended out really nicely. Like there's no skipping, it's not grabbed anywhere. It's super creamy, and obviously it's very dewy as well, which is very like on brand for Jess Hunt, because like she's the glow queen. Besides like the eyebrow queen, she's very like dewy looking. Her skin always looks very like wet and, you know, amazing. I really feel like this would be like the perfect summertime shade for me. So like now I would put it on par, like the shade wise, with the same as the Milk Makeup Baked cream bronzer. It's like same shade wise. It's very warm. It's not there for like sculpting. It's really like a proper bronzer. Yeah, and it's very emollient and it blends super well and it just looks great on the skin. It makes the skin look very juicy. So 10/10 for that. Really enjoyed it. Jess Hunt, if you ever see this, I love you brows, and I've literally bought every release. I will use her brow sculpt at the end. I haven't bought everything from her brand, so I haven't bought the pomade pen and I bought the brow and the actual like pen, and then you get like the pomade as well. I haven't bought the pomade or the pen because I don't fill in my brows, I just put in brow gel. So I bought the brow sculpt. I remember when it like first came out, like it was sold out. And as soon as it came back in stock, I was literally like, boom, bought two. And I was like, I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. So yeah. So you'll see me demo this as well toward the end. So the next up, we have the cream brush in Rose. This is what it looks like. So yeah, so you can see I've dipped in to try it out. It's so cute and tiny. So this is the size of the bronzer, and then this is the size, so it's much smaller. I will say that if you use a larger brush for bronzing and you want to go, like, I think that this is like the perfect size brush because it can fit into the cream blush and the bronzer. But if you're using like a big brush for your cream bronzer or like a sponge, you might get like the outside a little bit dirty, and that's why you can see like mine's a little bit dirty because I used it with a sponge the first time. So yeah, so let's test this out. So let's go in for it. So this is like the lightest shade. I got the lightest shade in everything. So yeah, so I started with my blush like kind of towards the back and then I bring it in. I was super worried that this was going to be like too light for me, but it more gives like a kiss of color. Like it tints the cheeks more than like, you know, like when you put on a light lipstick, like it, yeah, it's the kind of like, I thought that was going to happen to my cheeks, but this was actually like super great. I do take it up onto my forehead to make it look more natural, like a proper, when the bronzer and the blush are mixed together, it gives like a proper like sun-kissed look. So you can see it's like giving my cheeks like the tiniest little flush. This is a lot less pigmented than the bronzer, like you can go a bit more heavy-handed with this, which I do appreciate. But yeah, so I literally go into my temples with it, and I keep like, I dab like 3 times, like just lightly, and then I go in and place the product where I want it. So I take it like right across everything, because that's where I like to place brush, on my nose to give it like that proper sun-kissed look. And then I build it up a bit more on my cheeks to get like the more blush look. And keep in mind, when we put powder on top of this, like it eats like the first layer of like cream liquid, so it will look a lot like less intense when we put powder on. But if you're like Jess Hunt, you don't set her face, so just looks good. So yeah, so this is an up close view of like what the bronzer and the blush mixed together looks. Please ignore that mark, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I'm really like, I literally love the way that it looks. It makes it look so fresh and dewy, and like just your skin looks so hydrated, and obviously because we put the hydrating primer underneath it, it makes it look even better. So yeah, so that's what we're looking like. We've sculpted a jawbone in for Angus, which is always appreciated. And then we're gonna go in with the highlights now. Now this, when I got this, and so this is, it comes in the shade Topaz, and it's like one universal shade, kind of like the Vive Skin Dew, but this is a lot darker. When I got it, I was like, I don't know if I can use this. Like, this is very dark. Like, I did not realize how dark it was. I am not a big fan of the packaging, because like whenever I squeeze it, a lot more comes out than I want. But yeah, but it is what it is. So I put like the tiniest little dot, and then the more you blend it out, the sheerer it becomes, and then it kind of just gives you like this wet look. So what I'm actually going to do first is set my face with powder, and then I'm going to go on top, because this doesn't pick up powder, which is really great. So I'm just going to take my Jouer Prep Set and Hydrate, what is it? Yeah, Soft Focus Hydrate and Set Powder in the shade Fair Bale, and then I'm just gonna take quite a large brush. This is the JH02 brush. It's supposed to be a bronzer brush, but I'm just gonna take it for powder, and I'm just gonna dab the powder on my face just to set, just like slightly. Like, this powder doesn't like mattify your face, but it does just give the thinnest layer of setting. Okay, so I've kind of set my face. You can see that it's not like Hundy's set, like that powder doesn't like mattify my face. If you ever have a red mark and just need a bit of extra coverage, if you get one of those like tinted powders, like just literally lay it on top of the wet foundation, and it does calm it down a little bit, which is appreciated. And I'm just gonna go under my eyes again. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Whatever happens after this happens. Okay, so I have my little dollop, and you can see, please ignore this. Yeah, so you can see the more you blend it out, like the sheerer it becomes, and you can see it becomes like this more glowy. You can see it just blends out into like nothing, basically. Like, not nothing, it just like, the color of it kind of like disappears into your skin, and you're left with like just the nicest sheen. We're just gonna tap this onto the high points of our face, just literally with what I've just blended out, and just tap it onto the face. I'm gonna bring it quite low, because my cheekbones literally come, like, the highest point is here. So it gives you more of a wet look than like a metallic look. So if you're into that, I'm taking just a tiny bit more, because this does set down. It's quite like greasy, but like not in like a goopy way. It's more just like, it seems like once you place it where you want it, it will set, and then just give you that like absolute wet look. We'll take it down the bridge of our nose as well, because we like that. So you can see it's giving me like this absolute wet sheen, which is very much appreciated. I love it. I love looking like I wouldn't say it looks greasy, because obviously you can take this to a point where you do look greasy, but like it's more like you look wet, like an inner glow. And that's the kind of glow I like. But you can see there, just looks incredible. That's not the correct pronunciation of it, I'm so very sorry. But yeah. And then, so that's the highlighter, and we're looking very, like, you can see after I've even set the powder, like the bronzer sank in, the blush is sank in, it looks very cohesive. The highlighter is looking so good on our face, like it's just, so obviously I put it over powder and there's like no separation. Like it literally, it looks like a gloss. That's what it looks like. If I could describe it as something, it would be like a face gloss. If I picked up like the Mario face gloss, or there's a bunch of brands that have done them now, this is what I'd imagine it to look like. Like it looks just so wet and juicy, and yeah, it looks so good. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to do for this video is just do my brows quickly. I am going to use the Brow Sculpt. So this is just their brow gel. It comes with a brush. This is literally the most innovative packaging I've ever come across. And then it comes out like this wet stuff. If you do know about Jess Hunt, she is, if you don't, you know that you either do know or you don't know that she is like the queen of brows. Like her brows are incredible. They're insane. I will never wear my brows like that in my life because I just do not have the balls that she does. So what she does is she goes in with this first and she just brushes it through her brows. I'm trying to be very careful because you're actually supposed to do this on like bare skin. So I'm gonna brush it in. So the product comes out as white, but I know that it does dry clear. I have used this a bunch of times, and I know that it's the best to use this on dry skin because the spoolie is so big it can become a bit messy. So you just got to be careful with it. So I always end up using the end, and then so what I do is I swipe product on, and then I target it more with the end, and then I just push the front of my hairs, the front hairs of my brow up. And this stuff will give you literally just like the most super hold you've ever come across. Yeah, this is like, I would put this maybe a little bit higher on like the hold list than like the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. I don't like this comb. I don't like the comb that they have on it because obviously I don't do soap brows, but I do like the brush on the other side, but it can become a bit caked up with gunk I'll try and show you guys. So yeah, if you can see like on the ends there, it kind of becomes a bit caked up with junk, so you just have to like just wipe it off sometimes. I kind of like try and switch between the two to try and like get it to work, but like I can never get this comb to work. I don't know how Jess does it. Well, I'm kind of getting it to work now. Is this the secret? Is this how she does it? And then I'm just gonna continue to flip until like get my brows in the place that I want them to be. So that's where they are, and then I'm just gonna press them down so that they set nicely. But yeah. But as you can see, like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but like this is why you do it before, so you can like wipe away the excess product for this very reason. But if you're like careful, unlike me, then it's fine. Right, so we're gonna zoom you guys out and then I'll give you my thoughts. I'm gonna go in with some settings very quickly. First of all, let's start off with the bronzer because that's the first thing we used. This is incredible. If I was to go on holiday to like Greece or like somewhere very, very hot where I'm gonna get super tanned, or even if I'm wearing like a tan like this, if I'm wearing like a more of a hectic tan, like more a darker tan, I would definitely love to wear this in summer. Even if I'm not wearing a tan, I think I'd only wear this in summertime. In winter, I'd like to go for cooler shades, just it's a personal preference. But the formula is really great, super emollient, blends very well, like 10 out of 10. The cream blush, I'd actually like to get the citrine shade, which is like a more of an orangey color. But the funny thing is about the REFY packaging is that like they just have the shade names on it, they don't have like the product names. So this is the shade Rose. Perfect for my skin tone, gives me that perfect just pinch of color into my cheeks, and I can put it anywhere. Blends beautifully, meshes really well with the bronzer, which is really, really nice. So, and then we're gonna go on to the highlighter. I'm not like the biggest fan of the highlighter. It gives me like my wet dewy look, which I always very much love. Because I have more like normal leaning combo skin, when it comes to like highlighters, I just like to go for like a very plain, boring powder highlighter. The shade's a bit dark, so I feel like if I don't blend it properly, I'd be nervous to go out because it wouldn't be blended on my face. But otherwise, like, the actual formula is really, really great. Gives you that very wet, juicy looking highlight, which is very, very in right now. Very on par with Jess Hunt's aesthetic, which obviously I'm in love with because I love her. But yeah, but otherwise, if they brought this out maybe in a golden champagne color, I'd be on that, like white on rice, like, don't get me wrong. And as for the brow sculpt, I love the brow sculpt. It like keeps my brows in place all day. I don't fill them in, so I just need something that like just sticks them up and makes them look full, and this does exactly that. Not the biggest fan of the like the spoolie vibe, but if you're doing soap brows, I can understand why you'd prefer a spoolie like this. It's very like versatile in the way that you can stick up your brows. The product's great. It dries clear, doesn't leave any residue if you put it on before foundation. So that's, if you're gonna use it, put it on before foundation. But as a whole, I just love REFY Beauty and I love Jess Hunt. So if you're looking to pick up a few things, I definitely would recommend the brow sculpt, and I would definitely recommend the bronzer and the cream blush. But yeah, that's it from me today, guys. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!